Are you comfy? Are you cozy? Let's begin. Once upon a time, it was a golden afternoon in late summer. Near a big old house in the country, Mama Duck had made her nest by the water's edge. "Oh, these eggs are taking a long time to hatch," she sighed. She was a little lonely sitting there all by herself. The other ducks were too busy swimming around to come and chat with her. At last, the ducklings began to peck their way out of their eggs. Their little beaks banged away against the shell from the inside. One by one, they tumbled onto the floor of the nest. Soon they stood up and shook themselves until their soft, downy feathers became dry and fluffy. The little ducklings stared with wonder. "How big the world is," they chirped. And so it seemed after being inside an egg. "Oh, the world is so much bigger than this," quacked Mama Duck. "Now, is everybody hatched?" "Oh dear, no. That big egg is still there." An old duck swam by and stopped to look. "Oh, that must be a turkey egg," she said. "I had one in my nest once. Oh, it was a wee bit of a worry, it was. The chick wouldn't go near the water, however much I tried to push it. Just leave it be, that's my advice." And she slowly swam away. All the same, I think I'll sit on it a bit longer, Mama Duck thought to herself. Before long, Mama Duck heard a tap, 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 and soon the new baby toppled out of the egg. "Chirp, chirp," she cried. Mama Duck stared. "It certainly isn't a turkey," she thought, noticing the webbed feet. "But it's awfully big and a little ugly. Well, we'll just have to make the best of it." The next day, Mama Duck led her family into the water. Splash! Splish, splash! In went the first duckling. One by one they disappeared under the surface and bobbed up again like little balloons. Soon all of them, even the ugly duckling, were gliding gracefully over the water. The next day, Mama Duck led her family to the barnyard. "Bow to the old duck," she said. "The ribbon around her foot means that no one wants to get rid of her, and that's a great honor." The ducklings bowed, too much in awe to even chirp. Then the turkey marched up to look them over. "Oh, I've never seen such a big, ugly duckling," he gobbled. That was only the beginning of the duckling's troubles. Everyone was mean to her because she was so ugly. The other ducklings bit her, and the hens pecked her. The poor duckling was heartbroken. "Why doesn't anybody like me?" As time went by, it just got worse. Everyone seemed to hate the poor duckling just because she looked different. One day the ugly duckling couldn't stand it any longer. She ran out of the barnyard as fast as her big webbed feet would go. Soon she was in the woods, and it became harder and harder to find her way. But she kept running until she could go no further. She found herself beside a great marsh where the wild ducks lived. There she lay, hidden under a bush, feeling very lonely and tired. In the morning, some wild ducks flew by and stopped to look at the new arrival. "Hello," they said. "Who are you?" "I'm a farm duck," said the ugly duckling. She stared at the wild ducks who looked so very different from those in the barnyard. "A duck?" they squawked. "We've never seen a clumsy little duckling like you, but we don't mind if you stay here a while. The marsh is big enough for all of us." The ugly duckling was glad to rest by the marsh, far away from the cruel animals on the farm. The ugly duckling noticed that the trees were turning gold and red. As she poked amongst the reeds for food, 2 wild young geese landed beside her. "Hi there, friend," they called. "Would you like some company? We're flying to another marsh a little further along, where there are lots of young geese like us." And up they flew once more. The ugly duckling was unfortunately not strong enough to follow them. The wind was blowing very hard as she stumbled along in the dark. Suddenly, she found herself standing in front of a tumble-down old cottage. A faint light was shining through holes in the door. "I must get out of this wind," thought the duckling. So she squeezed through a hole and huddled in a corner for the night. An old woman lived in the cottage with her cat and her hen. "Oh, who is this?" she asked the next morning when she discovered the duckling. "Perhaps you'll give me some duck eggs, eh?" The duckling was allowed to stay. The cat and the hen tried to reassure her. "Just lay eggs," said the hen. "Ooh, and learn to purr," said the cat, "and you'll be just fine." But the poor duckling could do neither of these things, and so she sat sadly in the corner, remembering the joy of gliding over the water. At last she said to the hen and the cat, "I want to go into the big wide world." "You're crazy," said the hen. "Perfect," said the cat. "We won't stop you." The duckling managed to find a great big pond, and there she floated in the sunshine day after day. Once, a flock of beautiful great white birds with long graceful necks flew by. "I've never seen such beautiful birds," thought the duckling. "If only I could be their friend," she thought. The cold winter winds began to blow. The duckling had to paddle hard to keep ice from forming. One morning, her feet froze into the ice among the reeds, and she had to kick the ice really hard to break free. Luckily, a passing farmer saved her. He took the poor bird back to his warm home, but later the farmer's children frightened the duckling. She flapped about their kitchen, knocking all types of things over, and when the door opened for a moment, out she flew. One morning, as she lay among the reeds, she noticed how strong and warm the sun felt upon her back. She stretched her wings and flew up into the warm air. Before she knew it, she was flying towards a garden with a big pond in the middle. There, she saw 3 beautiful white birds gliding gracefully over the water. They were swans, but she didn't know it yet. I'll join them, she thought. Perhaps they won't like me because I'm so ugly, but I'd rather be that way than be pecked by hens. She glided over to the swans and bowed her head, and there, reflected in the water, was another beautiful swan. "Look, Mama, look, Papa," cried 2 little children who had run into the garden. "She's the prettiest one of them all." The swan, no longer an ugly duckling, lifted up her graceful neck. How delighted she was. Her heart was filled with love for the other swans, and at last she knew true happiness, for she had found her home. And so she lived happily ever after. Good night, sweet dreams.